A lot of people have cars, but I have a dream car. And everything you see in that car, that's my dream. The colors, the chrome, the wheels, the upholstery, everything that you see in this car, I built my dream car. My uncles had the lowriders. When I was a little boy, me and my cousins, we'd be riding on our bikes around the cars, peeking inside the car where the switches were at. We'd reach in there and hit the switch. My uncle would come over. We thought we were gonna get in trouble, but he'd be with a big smile. He'll be like, "You want me to hit the switch again or what?" So he'll just start hopping the car right there in front of us. We get all excited. I grew up with lowriders. That's where I got that passion of lowriding, from them. I got a 1962 Chevy Impala. It's charcoal gray with a jet black top, rolling on a 520 day wire wheels. It's a matching numbers car. Underneath the hood, it's got a 283 engine, a power glide tranny. Basically stock, but with a lot of chrome accessories. Custom air intake, chrome alternator, chrome radiator. It's got a little bit of custom work, but at the same time, a lot of the originality is still on there. The interior is a diamond tuck, a little different than your original biscuit tuck, just to give it a little twist. Gray and black matching, like the outside of the car. Kept the original steering wheel, got the tilt steer with the original dash. Aftermarket AC, it's got a custom trunk. Matches up to the doors and the panels with some LED lights in there. The black top was not my idea. That was my wife's idea. I was gonna paint the whole car gray. She said, "Why don't you paint the top black?" So my painter said, "Let's just run with it." Once he shot the paint and I looked at it, it was excellent. Me and my wife, we were looking for maybe 6 months, from New York to Hawaii, West Virginia, just all over the place. Ended up finding it in El Monte, off of Peg Road. So it was right in my backyard the whole time, but when I seen it, I knew that was a car I had to build. When I first seen the car, it was a mess. It needed a lot of work. The interior was pretty messed up. The trunk was a mess. It had a Folgers coffee can for a gas tank. It didn't have a gas tank. But I could see the foundation to build from it. I love the style. I love the model of this car. It's my all-time favorite. It's what I'm drawn to. I take my car out almost every weekend. It's something me and my wife do on the weekends. We look forward to getting out and getting behind the wheel, hitting the car shows, listening to the music, the oldies. It's therapeutic to me. My favorite part of this car is my license plates. 62 Psalms, and that's also the name of my car. It's got a lot of meaning behind it. My parents came from Michoacan, Mexico, and they came to Escondido, California. We lived there until I was like 7 years old. A couple months after that, we moved over to Corona, and that's where I was brought up right there. I'm a diesel mechanic. My dad was a truck driver, so that's how I got into the trucking diesel repairs. I was 16, 17 years old when he got me the job, washing trucks. And then I started getting in the shop and repairs, helping out. And later on, I became a supervisor of that shop. Been doing it for 25 years. When I was a little boy, I would look at the Lowrider magazines. I would take the magazines from my uncles, and they had piles of them. So they would just give them to me. My room was full of lowriders. Laying there, watching all these cars around me, and I would just dream and think, just owning one of those cars one day. Years go by, here I am now, and my car is featured in the centerfold of Lowrider magazine, July issue 2019. What were the chances of that? From a little kid that used to see those magazines, and my dream came true. When I first got my car, a week later, I got diagnosed with stage 1 cancer. It was something that I never even imagined happening to me. Both my grandma and my grandpa both died from cancer. So I watched also as a little kid what it does to people. I seen my grandma with no hair, going through chemo. 3 months later, she passed away. Years later, my grandpa also passed away. So there, here I am now with the news that I also have cancer. When my car first went in to get restored, the guy that was going to be restoring my car called me up and told me, hey, the car had cancer. It's kind of ironic because the doctor had already also called me and told me I also had cancer. So we were both diagnosed with cancer. So I was looking at my car, I put my hands on top of my car, and I basically spoke to my car. Just went like, you know what, you're gonna be all right. This shop's gonna take care of you, and I'm gonna be all right. God's gonna take care of me, and I'm gonna get to drive you one day. Had to be surgically removed with no treatment. Just they were just gonna monitor me for 2 to 3 months. A year later, I found out that the cancer had returned again. But this time it had returned fairly aggressive. It was a stage 3 now. So the only thing they can do there was receive chemotherapy. And when they came back, and now I have to do chemotherapy, if I thought it was life-changing the first time, the second time was, I didn't even know what to think. The doctor mentioned to me, this time you're gonna have to battle. They're gonna give me heavy doses of chemotherapy, 5 hours a day for a whole week, every 2 weeks. And that chemotherapy was just nothing like I expected it. I had even told my doctor, I'm gonna do chemotherapy and go back to work. So the doctor just agreed with me, yeah, no problem, because she knew that I wasn't gonna be able to do that. And once I started on the treatment, it just took everything out of me. People would ask me, what does it feel like to go through chemo? It's like going to hell and back, the best way I can describe it. You're emotionally, mentally, physically drained. On top of that, you're watching your family. I have my wife. She's asking me how I'm feeling. So I had to lie to her and tell her I'm doing really good, because I didn't want her to worry more. The thing that kept me going was my faith in God. He's the one that has me here right now. I would be a complete fool not to give him all the glory. He's the one that kept me going, kept me focused, reading his scripture. And that's why the favorite part of my car is 62 Psalms. God is my rock. He is my fortress. He is my strength. So when my car goes out and people ask me, hey, what's behind those plates? So it gives me an opportunity to share my testimony with them. And it encourages them, gives them hope that God didn't only save me once, but twice. And I'm encouraging other people through my life, through my testimony, because of those license plates. And that's why it's my favorite part. When I was going through chemo, my wife would pick me up from my treatment. She would ask me, hey, where do you want to go? Take me to go see my car. The guys at the shop would see me, they're like, what are you doing here? I says, look, this car inspires me. So I'm gonna be coming over here as often as I can, whenever I can. So my wife would take me over there. Because I couldn't really drive. I had what they call chemo brain. So I would forget a lot of things. I would forget where I was going, where I went. So she said, give me the keys. At that moment, that's when I lost my driving privileges from her. She was looking out for me. I remember one time I was in my treatment room. I looked out the window and I told my wife, man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to drive my car. I don't know if I'm gonna be alive to do that. I don't remember many dates. I forget people's birth dates, but I will never forget May 13, 2016 was the very last day of my chemotherapy. And that was the worst day of my life. I was done. Physically, mentally, emotionally, done. I was balled up in my room in the hospital. My wife went to go look for me. And I told her I can't do this anymore. So she went and hugged me and we both hugged. Says, you don't have to do it anymore, you're done. In March 13, the last day of my chemo, I came home, and in December 25th, Christmas Day of 2016, in December of 25th, 2016, that's when my car came home. Cancer-free, and I was also cancer-free. So I was able to drive it. And ever since, me and my wife, any chance we get in that car and we go. Met a lot of cool people in the process. I met a best friend. His name is Steven, the cancer crusher. He's also a role model. He's a lowrider role model. He's battling himself. He's my hero. Very thankful, very humble for all the trophies I've received from people. Although I appreciate every single one of them. But this is not what this car was built for. My trophy was my life. The love for my family is what saved my life. Because you reflect back on them, you want to live for them. So that gives you that strength you need. Me and my car have a lot in common. I know it's a car. It's somebody that I can relate with. He went through the same things that I went through. I got cancer, my car had cancer. I had to go to the shop, I had to go to the doctor. So we have a lot in common. My car definitely had a big impact in my battle. It's inspiring. I just encourage anybody that's going through anything in life to never give up on it. Because it's easy for us to give up. But I am living proof that it can be done. You do your part and God is going to do His. Just stay focused and don't lose track of your dream. My name is Eddie Rodriguez. I'm a two-time cancer survivor and I'm a lowrider role model.